They just make me feel uncomfortable.
I'm glad to see revenants working in our fields. I see nothing wrong with it.
What if the body used to be your brother? Your grandfather? You, Adiran, you know what a revenant is, don't you? Your dead friends and family walking around rotting all over your cabbages? At least someone around here seems to have a semblance of common sense.
What do you mean that's all you got? Last week you said there'd be grain.
I know what I said, but we only have so much to go around.
Are the Animancers starving as well? Or are they sipping tea?
No cutting in line.
Take it up with the
I
governor.
wasn't here first.
I don't make the rules. Go home. Lay traps in the woods and pray for game. And help you.
We know you're stashing the grain somewhere. Well, let's have it.
Godlike.
Another late harvest. How do they expect me to feed my family? Last season, we were lining up all the way to the river, but at least there was enough food for everyone. It's not just the market either. Emerald Stair might as well be a graveyard. Animancers are supposed to work miracles on these lands. But what good are miracles if we're starving? You want to find the governor, then? Bastard's hiding in the big house on the far side of town. Animancers gave us these farms. If the harvest doesn't come, they'll be the ones who pay. We're not worried about biting the hand that feeds us anymore, now that we know it's empty.
An empty hand can still slap the sock out of you.
Word of advice, Outlander. Don't tarry in Emerald Stair. Not if you value your life.
What do I tell Sovia? What do I tell the children? It's not bad enough that their mother a little earlier and you'd have beaten the other bandits to my crops. But I guess that's on you, isn't it? Finally! Someone who cares about something other than themselves. When they ran away, I saw them following the river north. They're probably hiding up there, waiting to steal from someone else. You come back with my crops, and I'll give you whatever I can. You can't put a price on survival.
Right behind you.
How'd you do that?
now!
Word of advice, give a wide berth to the governor's manor. Giatta's about to tear that poor man a new one. It ought to be quite a spectacle. When Giatta digs her claws into a grievance, she doesn't let go. She came storming up the hill with a wheelbarrow full of spoiled crops. Then the shouting started.
Animancers fighting? This I have to see.
This isn't the first time Giatta's put the governor in his place, but it might be the last. Look around. The town's overgrown, the crops are dying. What's not to fight about?
Just take a blessed day look outside. It doesn't take a genius to see this place is rolling downhill.
The governor's manor is on the far side of town. You can't miss it. Just follow the sound of foul language.
I was hoping to learn some local curses.
Looking forward to seeing what it looks like when Animancers fight.
The Emperor's envoy. Inquisitor Ludwig said you might be heading this way. As am I, in a way. Forgive me. I'm Captain Alfir, captain in the Steel Garrote. If you're here to speak with Vidaro, I'm afraid you'll find the governor is quite beyond reason. These Valians and their love of animancy. Good. Perhaps he will listen to you. I am not fashioned for statecraft. Still, I think the governor is too stubborn to be persuaded even by the Emperor's finest. When diplomacy fails, the Steel Garrote will be ready to ensure the safety of Adiran interests. We all have our part to play, envoy. Until later.
She's as subtle as a broadside.
Does subtle mean something different outside of Solace?
Be careful. Those delicate guns. They are not evil, it is just in their nature to push back against the expansion of civilization.
Genuine healing.
Oh, you startled me. This old woman can get lost in prayer from time to time. You must be the Adiran envoy I've been hearing about. Apologies for any hardships you may have experienced getting here. The failing crops, the strange beasts, and even the dream scourge are all the result of our neglect of the dead. Oh, sure. I can't take the blame for all of Fjord's problems, but my negligence has only made things worse. The dead of Fjord expect certain rituals to be carried out. I have failed to perform those rituals, and now the spirits are angry. Exactly the case. With everything happening and my own advanced age, I have had trouble keeping up. Our recent dead require a final meal to ease their passage from life. Without it, they can't rejoin the cycle.
You've got people waiting in line for their next meal, and you want to waste food on the dead?
I got food from the grain merchant stores. I just need someone to leave it at the graves. The dead will take it from there.
Flesh and bone. They bring the fruit to those who cannot eat. What tree calls for its branches to endure these rituals?
Of course. I follow a Valian tradition that teaches that the journey back to the cycle is a long and perilous one. Bareth appears as the usher to guide souls into the next life, but those who lose their way risk the ire of the Pallid Knight. We offer food to the recently dead to still their minds and give them something to offer should the Knight demand her toll. Causing it? Maybe not, but their anguish beckons to it, calls it to them, and unleashes it on the living nearby. The dead's anger is like a spiritual earthquake, driving all things out of balance. This simple sacrifice brings them peace. You must take these offerings of food and place them at 3 grave sites where the recently dead lay. The first offering goes to a cliffside grave on the southern coast. Loggers from the old days. They sacrificed themselves to make the land habitable and lost their lives to creatures of the untamed forest. The second offering goes to a grave in the swamp, far to the west from here. They buried the bodies of settlers there, intrepid sorts that tried to tame the farther reaches of Emerald Stairs wilds. The final offering should be taken to the truffle farm east of Fjord, where a family lost their lives to the encroaching wilds. Such a tragedy. A young family lost their lives there as the wilds encroached, swallowed before they could even flee. That is the least of my worries. But yes, bringing closure to the recent dead will finally allow me a good night's sleep. I can't thank you enough for helping to ease the conscience of an old lady. Please, return when the rituals are complete.
What's the meaning of this?
Look at these crops. Look at your city. The Dream Scourge is laying waste to our home.
There is no Dream Scourge in Emerald Stair.
The land begs to differ, and I can prove it.
We can discuss this in private.
We are discussing it now. How can you ignore what's right in front of you? The Dream Scourge is here, in the soil. And it's killing us. Oh my goodness. Are you a godlike? In that case, you're right on time.
Maybe you can talk some sense into our governor. Put the fear of the gods in him.
Tempers are high, but I don't see any assassins. Yet.
Excuse me. But unless you have official business, I'll thank you not to involve yourself in our private discussion. Very well. I hope you remember that behind these walls, your influence has limits.
I'm sure he didn't come all this way just to challenge your authority. As you can see, I was just proving a point to our esteemed governor.
A cart full of spoiled vegetables. You call that a point?
Ha! Emerald Stair used to be a lush garden for miles around, and now I don't even recognize it. First came the invasive species, roots and mycelium growing overnight, as though nature itself had gone mad. The Dream Scourge has twisted our lands, our wildlife, and now our farms.
There may still be time to reverse the damage.
I believe that we can restore the land, bring back its soul and its sanity, cut off the Dream Scourge at the root. Our governor would rather ignore the problem. He doesn't trust animancy as his father did.
As usual, Giatta never misses a chance to slander me. I don't ignore her concerns, only her methods.
And you still do nothing. Before we can deal with the Dream Scourge, we first need to understand it. Unfortunately, new experiments have to go through him.
Once again, Bureaucracy stands in the way of getting things done.
I'm just trying to stop Giatta from hurting herself. Animancy is dangerous when you're shooting in the dark. You must be unfamiliar with animancy. There's always collateral damage. Are you going to tell him about your family's basement? Or should I?
How dare you use that against me?
I know it was an accident, but look what it cost you. We can't let it happen again.
While we argue among ourselves, the Dream Scourge is tearing the living lands apart. Tearing our people apart. If I don't have your trust, I am determined to earn it. Well, Governor, looks like I'm taking some time away from my duties. I'll trouble you no more.
Your request is denied, Giatta.
I wasn't asking.
Your responsibilities are to the settlement. Turning away from them sets a precedent that I cannot allow.
Everything I have proposed has been for Fior, and you still refuse to cooperate. Under the circumstances, I don't have much of a choice.
Then neither do I. Giatta Castel, from this day forth, you are banished from Fior Messiverno.
Whoa, you're banishing her for that?
What?
Ignacy, we can't lose our brightest animancer in the middle of a crisis.
Your pupil has gone too far, Quilici. Take her and leave. You're still a guest in my town. But to us, Giatta is an outcast. Perhaps. But I can't just let her continue to poison the minds of my animancers.
They aren't your animancers. Your father understood that.
Don't bother, old man. He isn't his father. I've done all I can for Fior Messiverno. But you haven't even tried. Now limp back to your giant house like a good dog. We should talk somewhere private. Meet me at my house due west by the workshop.
Another mouth to feed. Maybe we'll need to let Kai hunt more after all.
Another time, my boy.
By tradition, the governor's manor is open to the public.
I've got a powerful feeling we weren't supposed to see this.
Maxim, where did you go?
I'm sorry you had to witness that spectacle. Giatta is a spirited animancer, but she can be intolerable at times. Whatever you may think of us, I welcome you to Fior Mesiverno. Quilici wants us panicking over what he can't even prove. If there's a threat to Emerald Stair, it's that old man and his fear-mongering. Don't waste your time on him. He was loyal to my father, but never to me. And he knows how to rally others to his side.
This Nimdude wouldn't see a Balrog coming if it did a little dance right in front of him.
If there's nothing more, I have a city to run. I knew I heard someone snooping about. And you have the gall to confront me like a common criminal. This conversation is over. That is not a topic for discussion. I'll hear no more of this. You go about your business, and I'll go about mine.
We should let this one go.
Encantado! Welcome to my establishment, amigo.
One job, but I couldn't even do that. Look out for her, Fidelio. How hard could that have been? If I could help myself, do you think I'd be in here? I don't mean that. I have a lot on my plate. I'd like to be. They're out searching. Someone had to hold down the fort. My two youngest rangers were supposed to report back from their rounds. I assumed they'd turn up. But it's been 3 days now. They're still not here. Three times this month. They're going to be the death of me. They're besotted. I can't get them to think about anything else. Belena and Adelaro were my most promising recruits. Now, all they do is sneak off to... I wouldn't have put it that way, but all right.
Well, there's worse places to make the four-legged beast. I promise you that.
New recruits running off with each other? Oh man, this brings me back. Anyway, I never thought I had any cause for concern. They always found their way back eventually, but they haven't this time. They're out there, all alone, and they could be in danger, and I... What they're doing is their business, but rangers have to come when they are called. Wait, gods, you're relentless. The point is, they've never been gone this long. The last time I saw them, I sent them to patrol the northern riverbed. If you go that way, please, keep an eye out for them. I'm losing my mind in here.
Two young Nimdutin wandering out by a river. Consider them found.
Pour you a drink. Well, I'll be a godlike in the bone and bore. Apologies for the ruckus outside. The Animancers never know when to shut their mouths. Sounds like you've traveled a fair bit. Although even by Fjord standards, tensions are at a breaking point. Except Giata and Quilici, that is. They are the only Animancers taking the Dream Scourge seriously. Try telling that to Vidaro and the Animancers. But the rest of us, we've all heard the rumors from outside. Animals gone mad, terrors stalking the wilderness day and night. Birth's bells, of course. If Emerald Stair runs out of food, we are in dire straits anyway. We've had crops fail before, but never food rations. The governor says it's just a temporary precaution, but I am not buying it. So, we ought to drink while we can. Agreed? Anything I can get you? What are you fixing to know? I opened the place after my brother cut me out of the family business years ago. I opened the Bone and Boar for all the customers he found undesirable. The rough types. I suppose when you put it that way. My parents were the first owners of the gifted magpie. Mom was an animancer, and the pa wasn't. They fought constantly. Because of that, my brother Hector hates conflict. It's ruined the magpie's business. I've tried many times to talk sense into that head of his, but Hector, he's stubborn. Visit the magpie and talk to him. You'll see what I mean. Now, is there anything else I can get you? Welcome back, envoy.
That did not go as I had planned.
What did you think would happen when you confronted him so?
Well, my first idea was to mess up his house. Maybe break a window or two.
Perhaps I should thank you for showing restraint.
I'm sorry you had to see that. What an asshole.
Giata, some manners, if you please.
Why start now?
We're on the verge of extinction, but our governor is too busy protecting his fragile ego. What does he know? He isn't even an animancer.
You did challenge his authority.
I know, but... curses. Without Fior Misiverno, I'm hardly even an animancer. My tools, the workshop, all gone.
I wish I could take credit for Giata's stubbornness, but she learned that on her own.
Thanks, old man. At least now I'm free to study whatever I want. On my terms. The Dream Scourge has been a thorn in my side for too long. I have plans for this island, and they don't involve the Dream Scourge. But that's a story for another day.
Your parents would be proud to see such tenacity.
Anyway, listen to us babble. Let's talk about you. I never expected to see an Adiran envoy here. You've got a lot of guts showing your face in a town full of animancers.
We will set aside our differences for the greater good, won't we, Giada?
Our first order of business is the Dream Scourge, but I'm also curious about you. There aren't many godlike left these days. Wouldn't that be a coincidence? I only bring it up because Anamancy might offer us some insight into your nature. Keep an open mind. While I pack up my belongings, you can help me by... I just realized this is the end. I have to leave your Miss Iverno. Forever.
Some people don't find out who they really are until they leave home.
You'll be alright. My advice, find a good tavern and learn how to prepare squirrel over an open flame.
Maybe if I focus on what I have gained, I can learn to accept everything I've lost. When it comes to the Dream Scourge, we haven't been allowed to acknowledge the problem, much less act on a solution. Today, that changes. I need help from the animancers around town, but as you can see, I'm an outcast. Don't worry. Ignacy can't banish us all. Manto Pastor is in the workshop due west. He's got an invention that can help us. Elia Rossell is an authority on the undead. Her methods are controversial, but useful. She lives in a cottage southeast of town. And then there's Yvette and Remy, our philosophers. You'll find them at the docks, southeast of Fjord. Each of them owes me a favor. Drop my name and they'll tell you what they know about the Dream Scourge. I'd rather you find that out for yourself. Whatever it is, I won't be disappointed. We're about to make history. But first, research.
Guessing she's not much of a hunter. Might want to get extra rations next time we go shopping.
Godlike, Imperial envoy, research assistant. Who knew?
Founded machine. Oh, I heard there was a new arrival, but I didn't expect a godlike. Welcome to our modest workshop. maybe to you, but I was educated in the great laboratories of Spirento, in the halls of experimentation. But you didn't journey all this way to hear me reminisce about the old country. Giada, what a loss. I owe that young woman more than I could ever repay. Unfortunately, I cannot do a lick of research while my equipment is underpowered and overworked. Ha! A novel idea, that. What I need is a stronger power source. Perhaps, if you can help me find an appropriate battery of essence. I could use a large single block of Atra, but harvesting it is difficult in this environment. Oh, wait. One of our rangers reported that an Adragon recently died in a western grove. Indeed, but that well is almost dry. I need more. An Adragon's heart can hold an immense amount of essence. The grove is to the west, across the chasm. You can't miss it. The rangers say a Delamgan queen holds court there. You may be able to retrieve it without violence, but most Delamgan in these parts are hostile to Keith. So, you can understand why none of us went rushing over there to find it when we heard the Adragon had died. Still, Delamgan queens can be reasoned with, so if you want to get the heart peacefully, try not to kill her guards. Do be careful. Emerald Stair is not itself these days.
Well, let's go. That Adragon's heart isn't gonna yank itself out.
Ado! Welcome to my fine establishment, amigo.